Alright, what is going on everyone? My name is Brian and I work by the artist name of Lofi. As you guys know, or if you don't know, I make a lot of Jazzhop type beats. They're pretty easy for me to pump them out, and when I make them, I always keep 3 things in mind. So today I'm going to be showing you guys those 3 tips. Hopefully they can be helpful to you guys. And yeah, before we start, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do so. I have a whole bunch of tutorials like this. I do type beats. Pretty much everything in this channel is going to be about lo-fi. So if you like lo-fi either as like a producer or like a listener or whatever, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the content. But yeah, so I actually opened up the project for the beat that I put up yesterday or the day before. I don't know when this video is going to go up, but if you guys don't know about it, let me play you the quick melody real quick. So yeah, this is what we're going to be working with today, so let's get into it. So the first tip that I'm going to be giving you guys is stop using 3-note chord. There are things called 7th and 9th chords, and actually I believe they're often referred to as jazz chords. So what I mean by 7th and 9th chords is usually if you have a chord, it will be like, you know, C, E, G, that would be a 3-note chord. By adding a 7th note, because the first note would be the C, the third note would be the E, the 5th note would be the G, and then by adding the 7th, the B, you get this instead of the, and then if you want to add the 9th, you play the D, and it goes like, and I know it may not seem like much, but staying away from 3-note chords, I feel like is a super easy way to make your songs sound more jazzy. They're called jazz chords for a reason, and it's a super easy way to make your songs sound more realistic. So that was tip number 1, and then tip number 2 I'm going to give you guys is to stay off the grid. And what I mean by this is when you normally like open up a project or a pattern, and I know you guys can't see this tab, but if you click this magnet, you get a whole bunch of like options. And usually it's going to be set on step. And the problem with using that is, as you guys can see, it's very limited in where you can place your notes. And when you place the notes on the steps, it's just not going to sound like realistic, in my opinion, because I feel like when you're making Jazzhop lo-fi type of beats, you would normally sample. And I know we're not doing that, but when you normally sample, it's sampling a real live person playing it. You want to stay away from the grid and make your melodies flow more naturally. So I know you guys can't see this again, but if you click the magnet, there's options. There's none. There's a 6th step, a 4th step, whatever. If you want to go for none, you can. If you want a little more control because you're scared that you have no complete control over, you know, your melodies, then you can click like a 4th step or like a 6th step. Whatever it is, make sure to stay away from the actual whole step because that's just going to limit your melody placement severely. And then the third tip I'm going to be giving you guys is going to go hand in hand with the second tip, and that is to add a lot of frills or like decorations to the melody. And what I mean by that is, let me play you guys an example. So as you guys notice, all this stuff, like all that kind of stuff, those are frills. And like I mentioned before, when you're making lo-fi Jazzhop type of beats, you're probably going to sample usually. If not, you're going to make your own melody. But if you sample, you usually listen for like the most catchy, fancy type of parts, and then you put them in like a catchy pattern, and then you put a beat over. That would be a Jazzhop beat. Since we're not using samples, we have to make our own fancy parts, which is why I highly suggest that you guys, you know, include these type of frills. They just give a little more like fanciness. I don't know how to describe it. And this also goes hand in hand with the second tip, because if you're adding these frills, as you can see, you're gonna have to stay off the grid. That's it for the 3 tips. So to cover them again, tip number 1 is to use 7th and 9th chords. Tip number 2 is to stay off the grid with your melodies. And then tip number 3 is to add a lot of frills and decorations. Yeah, that's it. So I'm just gonna play you guys what everything sounds like together. And yeah, that's it for the tutorial. Hope this helped you guys. I know like Jazzhop is kind of tricky because it requires samples most of the times, and a lot of us don't have access to great samples. So if you want to make your own melodies, try these tips out. Hopefully they'll be of use to you guys. And yeah, that's it. If you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I do a whole bunch of tutorials like this, plus more. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the content. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.